Celebrate Truth. I'm Robbie Davidson. We've got a good video for you today on a special day that the whole world is celebrating. And it's crazy because I see a lot of eggs, I see a lot of bunnies, I see all sorts of this going on. And so many people are teaching their children. The question is there consequences? Why is it that a society embraces lying to children? And the fact that we have obviously Easter with the Easter bunny and eggs. We've got Santa Claus with the presents flying around with magical reindeer delivering presents. These two holidays specifically, it is intriguing. You have to admit that two of the biggest Christian celebrated holidays are completely distorted, lied to, and brought about with children and within their imaginations. And people talk about, well, it's only a small lie or it's a white lie. But I find it very intriguing. And what's more intriguing is all of these things that are taught from an early age. And I see a very strong parallel when it comes to Big Bang cosmology, when it comes into just the fascination with space and planets and, in their wallpaper in their rooms. But things are really transitioning, and society almost wants this to be embraced. Now, if you differ from this, no, there's no tolerance. It is, you have to basically get on with the program, or there's going to be consequences. So I wanted to do this quick video to bring up a very startling case that happened here in Ontario, in my country, Canada. And it seems like, you better be careful what you teach now to your children, or if you don't teach, I should say, rather, you might get in trouble if you're not teaching these fairy tales and myths. And it's very surprising. And maybe we're moving into something a little bit more sinister. What happens if you teach your children that evolution is a lie, or even everything that basically space and NASA is telling us as far as the final frontier? Maybe there isn't going to be a final frontier when it comes to space, the Big Bang heliocentric universe. But again, we're talking bunnies, we're talking eggs today. And it's tragic because, again, this is definitely not what the original meaning of these holidays are. When we have Santa Claus, when we have the Easter Bunny, and it's crazy. And again, that's the whole point of this is we're going to get into a few things here today. And the one thing that we're going to get into is let's get right into the article that I found very startling. But of course, you got Obama and Michelle there. Oh, who are they with? The Easter Bunny. And we see this time and time again. We see this embracing of complete fables. Now, people will say, why would they lie? And, of course, everyone believes this. But then that's how we bring this parallel. Just because the whole world is embracing something like the heliocentric Big Bang universe or evolution or whatever they want, everyone, the whole world embraces climate change. Therefore, it's real. Really? Is that science? No, it's not science. But again, this is detrimental to children, and this is what is so intriguing is they start at such a young age. And I've talked about this in previous videos. Check out my videos when it gets into the indoctrination of children, showing from a very early age they bring these concepts in. Now, one person can say it's not a big deal, but I beg to differ. There has been different articles done, and people have studied this. And again, when children are told that these stories are indeed lies. For example, the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus. 50% of surveyed children felt bad, 48% felt sad, disappointed, or tricked. 42% felt confused, 35% felt angry, 33% felt upset, 29% felt sorry, and we have 13% that felt hurt. To say that this is not going to have consequences and that this doesn't impact children going forward and how it shapes their reality, how they see the world, how they see their parents. And I'm sorry, but if you actually believe that lying to your children is actually a good trait and this is going to help children, you're sorely mistaken. There is going to be consequences and it will start to bring in a lot of different things. And again, it can stem from maybe everything else. How do I know anything else is true that my parents teach me or that I see in the world or that society itself embraces? Because when all of a sudden you see, oh, look at that, isn't that Bush? Oh, he's embracing the Easter Bunny too. So we see everyone embracing the Easter Bunny And this is where it gets so troubling because, again, we get into this article. A Christian couple in Canada has filed a lawsuit against Hamilton Children's Aid Society for removing two foster children from their home because they refuse to lie to the girls that the Easter Bunny is real. So basically, they got their children removed because they refused to lie. Society is actually going to actually give you consequences if you don't lie. Now, you have to ask the question, why in the world would this be going on? We have a no lying policy, Derek Myers, one of the foster parents, told National Post, pointing out that the child support worker insisted that he and his wife, Frances Byers, tell the two girls in their care, aged 3 and 4, the Easter Bunny is real. We explained to the agency that we are not prepared to tell the children a lie. If the children asked, we would not lie to them, but we wouldn't bring it up ourselves. The eligibility of the Byers member of the Reformed Presbyterian Church in North America was canceled, and the children were taken away. They filed a lawsuit against CAS, sponsored for a conservative nonprofit group, Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, last week. So we got Dominic, executive director of Hamilton CAS, disputed that CAS was disrespectful of the Byers' beliefs. There are two sides to every story, he was quoted as saying. He did not explain any further. Of course he didn't, apart from saying that the agency works to have a customary practices of children placed in care continued while in foster care. The CAS worker who insisted that bars teach the children that the Easter Bunny is genuine was introduced to the couple after Christmas. The worker told them the Easter Bunny was an important part of Canadian culture. You have got to be kidding me. So, and again, I'm sure this will translate wherever you're watching this video from. You're going to see this because, again, the Easter Bunny is not just Canadian culture. It's in the US. I would say it's more so in America. But to sit there and say the Easter Bunny is part of the culture and not allowing a child to embrace in that is wrong, right? So the article goes on. They're having this thing. They're talking about how important it is that, we continue to give them their childhood. Without the Easter Bunny, they're not having their childhood. And I just found this absolutely crazy because, again, you're dealing with deceit. You're dealing with a society that will give you consequences if you don't play along, if you don't go along with these fantasies. And again, whether it's the Easter Bunny, whether it's the Santa Claus, what about the Big Bang Theory? Again, here's another absolute myth. It's a theory, it's whatever. And again, children are being taught this. So there you go. A few billion years later, planets were formed. And again, this is what they're teaching children, right? They're teaching children that nothing became something, exploded, and created everything that we see a few billion years later as we see the solar systems and planets. And again, now they're saying that if you don't go along with this, then you're a science denier, you're dangerous. And we're seeing this rhetoric all throughout scientific journals, early childhood. You've got all the complete clowns like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye. You've got a lot of different people. I mean, they've gone so far as to say as child abuse if you teach young Earth creationism that the Earth was created, a lot younger than a billion years ago. Again and again, they keep changing things over and over and over. But this is the whole thing. Kids are taught the Big Bang Theory. They're taught the Easter Bunny. They're taught this. Embrace this, get along. You better make sure that you play along or you might lose your kids. And we see this over and over and over again, right? Right back to this. Eggs, Big Bang nonsense. And again, are we moving towards a time where they will say, listen, if you have children in your custody, if you have children and you're not teaching them these things that are important as far as culture, as far as science, as far as society deems appropriate, will they have the power to actually start removing, we need to stand up to these type of things because this is getting scary. We're seeing this on all fronts. We're seeing this with the transgendered, the agenda that's being completely forced upon us with the whole embracing, accepting everything. And again, this is having massive consequences to society as a whole. But morally, again, we're on a downward spiral, and it just seems like it's out of control. And something like this, to me, is very, very alarming. It's frightening to think. And hopefully, our prayers will be with Derek and his wife that, they really basically make a stand and say that this is completely wrong. I mean, going so far as to saying that people want they want parents to lie to the children, even though they know that the Easter Bunny is not real. They know that. And that's the whole thing. The article actually goes on, and I'll put the link in the description so you can read further into it or maybe look more into Derek and his wife's case as far as what's going on. But again, this happened in Canada very recently. This is dated, I believe, April the 15th, 2017, as far as this case. And again, we see it, and talking about the Easter Bunny is an important part. We can't deprive our children. And now, of course, the couple noted that the CIS worker was afraid that same-sex couples were potential adoptive parents. They might not treat them as well. So again, here we go again, right? So now I'm sure that the CIS worker is in a little bit of hot water. Now they're resorting to saying, well, I think they're going to be discriminatory towards homosexuals or same-sex or transgendered or the whole thing. Again, ooh, they're being hateful because they're not embracing us. Oh, please be tolerant, but don't be tolerant to us. They preach this all the time as far as tolerance, and they're the most intolerant people that I know. As far as, they're fine. Everything's good until you disagree with them. Heaven forbid you ever disagree with these people. But we're seeing this on all fronts, moving around. They're going after our children. They're going after in many ways. But remember that the same-sex couple type of agenda is coming against the children because the children are going to be taught certain things outside of their parents' care. That's why a lot of parents are now starting to homeschool a lot more than even before, is because they're seeing how much of this is being crammed down that it's just completely the agenda is getting to such a point where they don't even know. I mean, there's laws in place. I know in my country, I think in the States as well, where they can do certain things and tell certain things to children without the children ever being able to tell their parents, or the parents are unaware of what's going on. I mean, girls can have, abortions. They can do all sorts of things without the parents even knowing, different things like this. I mean, it's crazy what's going on, but I just thought this was startling because, again, we're dealing with the Easter Bunny, for goodness sakes, Easter Bunny. And again, it is nothing but a illusion, a lie, a deception geared towards children. We already know that there are effects that take place when children do come to the age that, oh, mommy and daddy, we lied to you. But then they start looking at the world very suspiciously. And it's like, what else could mommy and daddy lied about? And this is the dangerous thing. But it's more dangerous when a government or government agencies are ready to pull, give consequences, not allow parents to have the rights that they're deemed because they will not get with the program and teach it. So whether it's Easter Bunny, it's Santa Claus, or it's the Big Bang heliocentric universe, hey, why don't we throw in evolution in there? If you don't believe this, this is proof. This is what society believes. You're in big trouble. Let's continue to fight this. Let's hold this couple up in prayer. Let's continue to do what we can to fight against a system that wants to just basically tell us what to believe, even though when it comes to a lot of the stuff, there's nothing that's verified, there's nothing that's real. This is not reality. This is fairy tale. And honestly, just like the evolution theory, just like the Big Bang heliocentric universe, nothing but science fiction, lies, propaganda, deception. Let's continue to pray. Let's celebrate truth and expose the world's lies. Blessings. Take care.